And local supporters of immigration reform will hold a rally today. Organizing for Action is hosting a congressional send-off event. This is out in Murfreesboro. They're pushing for Congress to move forward with immigration reform when they head back to Washington. Now, the rally will be at Congressman Scott DesJarlais' office. That's set for 1 o'clock this afternoon.
All right, 6:36 right now.
I'm a sportsman, I'm a big hunter, but I'm a big proponent of sensible gun ownership.
The gun debate hit Nashville today as a group of Nashville residents took on one of the nation's most controversial topics, universal background checks. Nashville pastors, members of the NAACP, and a Metro Police commander joined a group called Organizing for Action today to gather support for gun control legislation and to help put a stop to violence.
What reasonable person could be against the gun show or be for the gun show loophole or internet sales of weapons? That's not a sporting issue. That's not a gun collector's issue.
It's on the preventive side that we really need to step it up. Like I said, we come to work and we lock folks up. We get guns off the streets, but that's not going to solve the problem.
Organizing for Action urges anyone with gun concerns to contact their local congressman.
Another controversial issue, immigration, was front and center today at one of Tennessee Congressman's offices. The group Organizing for America held send-off events at congressional offices across the country today to speak out about comprehensive immigration reform. This event was at Representative Scott DesJarlais' office in Murfreesboro. The group wants Congress to act on reforms and approve a legal path to citizenship.
We've been here since I was 5 years old, and now I'm 23. We've followed the law as far as immigration goes, and the system just is broken, and we've just been waiting because there aren't enough green cards available.
The send-offs come as members of Congress head back to Washington after the August recess.
Tonight, an event to support women and families took place in West Knoxville. The Stand With Women initiative is focused on women's rights and security and advocates for policies. It advocates for policies to help women. Organizing for Action in Tennessee sponsored the event. State Representative Gloria Johnson was the keynote speaker. Organizers say the goal here is to show people how they can get involved and really make a difference.
Events like this are happening all over the country. We are raising awareness of women's issues and discussing some of the things that we might be able to do as individual citizens.
Organizing for Action is a grassroots group dedicated to getting people involved in their communities.
Happening today, Organizing for Action will rally on the steps of Representative Marsha Blackburn's office today. The group is urging Blackburn and other lawmakers against shutting down President Obama's health care law. Blackburn has said in the past that it's important to defund and then replace the president's health care plan.
The Affordable Care Act was signed into law more than 3 years ago. Well, supporters of Obamacare rallied outside Republican Marsha Blackburn's Franklin offices this afternoon. A grassroots group calling itself Organizing for Action says their message for the Congresswoman is simple: enough already.
Enough of the partisan politics, enough of saying that she wants to defund the Affordable Care Act, enough of saying she wants to shut down the federal government. Shutting down the federal government will hurt all citizens. It will hurt seniors, it will hurt veterans, it will hurt the middle class.
Congressman Blackburn is pushing to delay Obamacare.
When people look and see that they can get high quality, affordable health care for less than their cell phone bill, they're going to sign up.
In Washington, I'm Shannon Travis.
Tennessee Congressman Marsha Blackburn has been one of the most vocal critics of the president's health care law.
And today, the group Organizing for Action targeted the Congresswoman's office in downtown Franklin. Organizers tell us they're angry over the 42 votes in the House to defund the Affordable Care Act, which they tell us has cost taxpayers approximately $60 million. The group is concerned that shutting the government will cost a lot more and affect all Americans.
When I hear Marsha Blackburn says we already have a health care system, he can go to the emergency room, I want you to know, Representative Blackburn, they patch you up and they send you home to die.
The group is planning more rallies at the offices of other leaders who support defunding the Affordable Care Act.
A new
Some people gathered on the steps of the old courthouse in downtown Franklin today in support of the president's Affordable Health Care Act. This group called itself Organizing for Action, and they plan to hold other rallies to try and send a message to more members of Congress. Today, they addressed their remarks to Representative Marsha Blackburn. And in Washington, the Senate agreed to begin debate.
Enough already. Do your job.
Protesters rallied to get a Tennessee congressman to change her mind on Obamacare. We have new numbers on how much the law will cost you. Unsolved murder.
They're counting on us.
Downtown this afternoon,
Do your job. Do your job.
the shutdown's impact on the military sparked a protest at the federal building.
This is not how adults operate. Certainly, that's not how our government should operate. We're better than this, America.
Organizing for America blames House Republicans for the shutdown. The group has close ties to President Barack Obama's administration. Today, it focused on the military impact, including furloughs and rumors of delayed paychecks.
These Republicans like to talk about how they support our servicemen and women and our veterans, but we see how they act. This is reckless. It is beneath what Americans expect from their elected officials, and we have all had enough.
In defense, Congressman Marsha Blackburn defended the fight as much more than a rally against the president's health care plan.
We are very hopeful that it will be a short-term, not a long-term situation. We cannot continue to borrow $2 to $3 billion a day just to keep the doors open, and it is imperative that we put the issues that are causing the escalation in federal spending on the table and address them.
Also, there seems to be a lot of concern right now about Head Start programs. In many places, the federal government directly funds the program for very young children. In Nashville, the money comes from the Metro Action Commission. A spokeswoman told us this afternoon they should be fine for now, but a prolonged shutdown could change things, seems to be the sentiment for a lot of force.
A 73-year-old Chattanooga native led a rally today to end the government shutdown. Former high school principal and U.S. Navy veteran Franklin McCauley delivered his message to a group of Organizing for Action volunteers across from the federal courthouse today. Now, he said House Republicans, quote, must stop sabotaging our economy just to satisfy their obsession with defunding Obamacare.
The Tea Party is all about the Tea Party. High fives all around, Tea Party. You have successfully closed down the government of the United States, and you are hurting our country and our citizens.
McCauley's so-called government shutdown grassroots action event took place today at noon. A 73-year-old Chattanooga native led a rally today to end the government shutdown. Former high school principal and U.S. Navy veteran Franklin McCauley delivered his message to a group of Organizing for Action volunteers across from the federal courthouse today. He said House Republicans, quote, must stop sabotaging our economy just to satisfy their obsession with defunding Obamacare.
The Tea Party is all about the Tea Party. High fives all around, Tea Party. You have successfully closed down the government of the United States, and you are hurting our country and our citizens.
McCauley's government shutdown grassroots action event took place today at noon.
Well, there wasn't a... Well, a 73-year-old Chattanooga native led a rally today to end the government shutdown. Former high school principal and U.S. Navy veteran Franklin McCauley delivered his message to a group of Organizing for Action volunteers. It was across from the federal courthouse today. He said House Republicans, quote, must stop sabotaging our economy just to satisfy their obsession with defunding Obamacare.
The Tea Party is all about the Tea Party. High fives all around, Tea Party. You have successfully closed down the government of the United States, and you are hurting our country and our citizens.
Now, McCauley's so-called government shutdown grassroots action event took place today at noon.
Said she had a group of war veterans scheduled to tour the military parks today, and she had to cancel their trip.
In downtown Chattanooga today, a group tell House Republicans enough already. Organizing for Action volunteers spoke out against House Republicans, telling them to stop sabotaging our economy. The group's organizers say the lawmakers are just trying to satisfy their obsession with defunding Obamacare.
Are we supposed to sit back and say this doesn't matter? No. The Tea Party says it's not a big deal.
Oh, it is a big deal.
Tell that to the American citizens who are bearing the burden.
Government
Franklin McCauley is a 73-year-old Chattanooga native and U.S. Navy veteran. He is part of Organizing for Action as a grassroots-funded social advocacy group.
A road rage incident last night in Jasper escalates to gunfire and a woman shot. Her 8-year-old.
A new poll finds a majority of Americans disapprove of the changes under the health care law, but those who are trying to educate people in East Tennessee about the insurance marketplace say it's because many just aren't taking time to read about those changes.
I told one gentleman, and he said, boy, I'm glad I don't.
We attended this forum tonight where Dr. Mary Hedrick has been a vocal supporter of the changes, including during her run as a Democrat for Congress in Tennessee's 3rd District. She tonight is dispelling some myths about the Affordable Care Act. The nonpartisan group Organizing for Action says the new law will help more Americans get better coverage and better insurance security. The new USA Today poll did find 53% disapprove of the law compared to just 42% who approve. Coming up on Thursday, Channel 10 will delve into the changes under the new law in an hour-long special called the Affordable Care Act Checkup. We'll explain what this law means to you, your family, and East Tennessee businesses. Again, that airs Thursday from 7 o'clock until 8 o'clock on 10 News.
An East Tennessee native who served in World War II and opened an Athens outlet has passed away. Morris Mike David Goodfriend passed away last Friday.
Dozens gather in West Knoxville to support women and families. The Stand With Women initiative is focused on women's rights and security and advocates for policies to help women. Organizing for Action in Tennessee sponsored last night's event. State Representative Gloria Johnson was the keynote speaker, and organizers say the goal is to show people how they can get involved and make a difference.
Events like this are happening all over the country. We are raising awareness of women's issues and discussing some of the things that we might be able to do as individual citizens.
Organizing for Action is a grassroots group dedicated to getting people involved in their communities.
Tonight, an event to support women and families took place in West Knoxville. The Stand With Women initiative is focused on women's rights and security and advocates for policies. It advocates for policies to help women. Organizing for Action in Tennessee sponsored the event. State Representative Gloria Johnson was the keynote speaker. Organizers say the goal here is to show people how they can get involved and really make a difference.
Events like this are happening all over the country. We are raising awareness of women's issues and discussing some of the things that we might be able to do as individual citizens.
Organizing for Action is a grassroots group dedicated to getting people involved in their communities.
Well, tonight. All right, in other news tonight, it is day 2 of a government shutdown that is leaving hundreds of thousands of federal employees out of work.
Today, a local workers group rallied outside the Social Security office in Knoxville to urge lawmakers to put a stop to the shutdown. 6 News reporter Samantha Manning joins us now live in the studio with details. Samantha.
Kristen, it's estimated around 800,000 federal employees are affected by the government shutdown, and there are roughly 25,000 here in Tennessee. Now, many of those workers have been told to stay home, while others are working without knowing when they'll get paid. And it's that kind of uncertainty leaving local federal workers fed up with legislators.
Not knowing when you're going to get that next paycheck does affect the entire family.
Renee Preciado is a service representative at the Knoxville Social Security office and has worked here for almost 14 years. As a federal employee, she has been working without pay for the last 2 days, all because Congress still has yet to pass a federal budget.
Things are very unclear right now, so we just don't know which direction or how long this furlough may last.
A group of between 10 and 15 people held these signs outside of the Social Security office today, urging lawmakers to work to end the shutdown.
We want our representatives to sit down and negotiate something and stop just closing the government down.
The shutdown is leaving Social Security offices with limited services. Jim Nelson is a senior from Oak Ridge and a retired engineer. He has been looking into applying for Social Security. But last week, he got this letter in the mail outlining the contingency plan for a government shutdown. Jim was told he won't be able to apply for Social Security benefits until a budget is passed.
My application would not be processed.
The threat of a long-term shutdown leaves Jim worried about his income.
I would have to dig down into my savings to a point where I don't know how I would eat.
And those with their paychecks in limbo echo those same fears.
How am I going to explain to the KUB bill that, sorry, I can't pay my utilities this month?
Now, President Obama is expected to meet with House Republicans around 5:30 this evening and is expected to urge them to pass a spending bill without any restrictions on the Affordable Health Care Act. Live in the studio, Samantha Manning, 6 News.
All right, thank you, Samantha.
Thanks, Marcus. A group of people rallied outside the Federal Building in downtown Nashville for veterans' rights.
We've had enough of the political gimmicks and partisan games that led to this federal government shutdown.
The group says they're upset specifically with House Republicans for keeping the government shut down and delaying many veteran benefits. One Afghanistan veteran from Fort Campbell was on hand and said it took 16 months for his claim under normal circumstances dealing with the VA. With the shutdown, he fears claims could take up to 2 years. Congressman Marsha Blackburn says the group is forgetting that just last night, Democrats denied a new bill to reinstate veteran services.
Last night, there were 164 Democrats that voted against this. They voted against the veterans funding.
The group is also mad the Affordable Care Act keeps getting pulled into the shutdown debate. Congressman Blackburn says she hopes a new bill to reinstate veterans' benefits will pass.
Other news, closed for 40 hours now and still no end in sight.
Yeah, as the country cries for a deal, Congress continues to try and make progress no matter how slow it may be. Today, the president called on congressional leaders to meet with him this afternoon. That meeting should be at 5:30, a little less than an hour and a half from now. But that's not stopping concerned citizens from flooding the Capitol building, demanding a deal. The reopening of national parks, monuments, and memorials, and work for furloughed federal workers.
And locals got out in the community to have their voices heard today. You can see some of the signs right here that read, Democrats are blaming the Republicans for the shutdown, and Republicans are pointing the finger at Democrats. Meanwhile, Social Security offices around the nation remain open, but are providing limited services. And Republican Senator Lamar Alexander responded, saying this stubbornness in the face of reasonableness will not be good for our country, will not be good for either political party. It will not help us to achieve the kind of result on this and on other issues.
All right, well, meanwhile, we're tracking crime in Knoxville.
Get off your butts and do your job.
Do your job. Do your job. Do your job.
Well, tonight, many veterans are fed up with the ongoing shutdown. Several protested outside the federal courthouse in downtown Nashville today. Some veterans services, especially those run by civilian workers, are on hold until a funding bill is passed.